Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know I am an art channel, but lately I did this Instagram story asking how you guys were doing, and I realized a lot of you guys, including me, have exams coming up. So I thought, why not make a video telling you guys which study methods I use, as well as which apps that help me kind of get my life together so I can study for my final exams. So without further ado, let's begin. So the first app is Google Calendar. I know this is a very, very basic app, but it has literally saved my life. So as you can see, you just kind of like log your events on Google Calendar, but there is a way to make your Google Calendar look nicer and more customizable. So if you don't know, Google Calendar only offers these I think 8 or 6 colors that you can choose for your events if you're using one calendar, but they also offer this color called your calendar color. So basically what I like to do is to choose my own custom colors, is to create different calendars for different categories, as you can see here. Yeah, and this not only makes it just more prettier, but it also makes it easier for you to categorize your different activities. As you can see, I have one for school, one for personal stuff, one for dance assessments, and then you can hide the calendar to see different things if you want to lay it out. Like for example, if you want to only see exams, you can do that, which is very useful, and you can't do that if you're only using one calendar. So yeah, Google Calendar, highly recommend, and you can obviously use it on your phone as well because it syncs. And there's also a Google Calendar widget, which is really useful if you're just scrolling your phone to see what events you have coming up next. And also they also notify you 10 minutes, or you can just set whenever before, so that makes sure you do not miss anything. So yeah, Google Calendar, very cool. The next app that I use is called Todoist. I actually talked about this in my vlog about when I first started my final year of high school. So for this, basically it just allows you to have a to-do list per day and allows you to plan events for different days. And what I like about this is you can also start projects, which is very useful, especially if you're actually doing projects and you need a really big list. For example, actually when I planned my shop update for January, I used Todoist to help me figure out what I have to do and make everything really organized. And one thing you can do is actually add collaborators, but I don't have any collaborators to add. And you can also sync it to Google Calendar, which is why I put Google Calendar first on this list. And another thing is you can do is you can add tags, you can set the date, and you can just overall see what is going on soon, so you can plan events. And I really highly recommend, especially if your exams coming up. For example, my final IB exams are coming up next week. So creating a study schedule really helps you to just sort everything out and not have less panic in your life. The next app I use is called Habit, and I really love this app. It's one of my favorites out of this list, and this is really useful, especially as the name suggests, when you're establishing habits. So basically you just log on the different habits you have, and one thing that I really like is you can choose different ways to measure your goal. For example, for water drinking, you can do 2,000 ml, and you just kind of add until you have 2,000 ml, but I'm lazy, so I just did the count one. And one thing I also really like is the minute function. So for example, if you're like, I want to study Japanese for 30 minutes, so then you can set the habit to 30 minutes as your goal, and you can just play it when you start studying for Japanese, and you can choose a focus sound, which is really cool. It's all the different organizing tools in one. And another thing is that it sends reminders when you have to do them, so you can set custom text. As you can see here, I said stay hydrated queen every time I'm trying to drink water. So I actually think I've drank the right tense drank more water because of this app, because constantly reminded, and the message I set myself is really funny. And another thing is that there's a widget for it, and you can kind of see like a heat map of if you have completed the habit of the day, and you can kind of see the whole picture, and you kind of feel bad if you miss out and you don't have the color. So like that kind of motivates you to complete the habit even more. So I really recommend this app 100%. The next tool is a Chrome extension for all you procrastinators out there. It's called Stay Focused, and basically what it does, it blocks the websites that you choose to not go on. So I put Instagram and YouTube in, and basically what it does, it prevents you to go on those websites. You can also set a timer on how long you can spend on those websites per day, and you can also set a designated day or a designated time frame. And if you are on the website, they show a little timer of how much time you have left, which is super useful for all you procrastinators. The next tool is also a Chrome extension. This one's not super useful, but is a very good motivator. Basically, it's just a countdown to the day that you want, and I put the end of my exams, so I basically can know how much time I have left, how much more I have to suffer until freedom. And yeah, shout out to Fishwin, my friend, who uses it. That's why I use it, so check her out. Yeah. The next tool that I use is called Anki, which is actually the Japanese translation of memorization. So if you cannot guess already, it is for memorizing your different contents. It creates flashcards, and it also sets like this timer thing that helps you remember better, like how they space out the time of when you should review those note cards, which is very useful, especially if you have a subject that requires a lot of content that you need to memorize. For example, that's me for psychology and design. So this app is very useful. So basically you just create your own flashcards, and you can sort them into decks, and then you just kind of do them, and then the app will automatically like tell you when to review those certain note cards again, to make sure that you have truly memorized and learned those flashcards. So yes, very useful. And you can also sync it to your phone, and you can also create an account, and you can also download other people's flashcards. So I did that for Japanese, and I did that for Korean too, but I haven't touched Korean yet. So it's very useful for memorizing, and I recommend it a lot. The final tool that I recommend is called Tide, and it is basically a meditation / well-being tool. I think this is really helpful. I know as students we often get really stressed, and it isn't really talked about much, like mental health, so I kind of want to put this in because there has been a lot of times where like my anxiety has been peaking, or I was just so stressed because I have so many assignments, or my exams are coming soon. So basically this app has multiple functions. So the first one is that obviously it helps you sleep better. It plays a tide or like the sea, the beach sounds, and it also can do rain sounds and forest sounds and fireplace sounds. It's just like relaxing sounds for you. I think that one is really useful, and they can also do the same thing if you want to nap. And they also track how much you sleep, which is I think very good, because you know, as a student sometimes I have a hard time sleeping, just think about like all the stress and stuff. And the function I like the most is called breathing, and basically it guides you how to breathe. I know that sounds like kind of absurd, like don't you already know how to breathe? But when you're super stressed, you tend to breathe less, and you tend to start breathing from your mouth. So from using this app, it can kind of allow you to breathe through your nose and then exhale through the mouth, and then to see your stomach like expand. And what's the opposite of expand? Okay, well, the opposite of expand, to really help you calm down, because if you're not breathing properly, that will actually cause, like for me, it causes like stomach aches and headaches. So I think that is really useful, and I think a lot of people should do some meditation exercises, especially if you feel stressed. That will really help you. So yeah, I wanted to put this in the end. So yes, this video might be a little bit late for some of you, because I know for some of you your exams have already started, but hopefully to the rest of you this is helpful, because these apps really helped me get my life together, especially when I'm feeling demotivated and I don't want to study. Using these apps really helped. And yeah, hope this was helpful for you too, and see you in the next video. Bye!